Dear MPs, all the MPs that voted yes, this is on you. This is on you and your children. It's on you. May you all go to hell. Go to hell. We shot an 11-year-old yesterday in town. And the MPs picked up the ambulances to flee. So we're busy waiting for ambulances to take these people to hospital. And we couldn't find an ambulance because the ambulance is overwhelmed. And tear gassed the medic tent in Basilica. We already had injured people. Rest in peace. We hope we rest in peace.
Hey, this is Janetta. Ooh, yeah. Hey, I want to let you know about what is happening here in Africa, specifically Kenya, which is right next door to me here in Tanzania. Well, it seems that their president, Dr. Ruto, who's the president of Kenya, has been going back and forth to the United States, and they have been making some decisions. He's actually been elected as the non-United Nations representative, actually allied with the United States. And it seemed like everything was going on good, going right. But there are some things happening here at home that the people of Kenya are not very happy with their president. And this video is going to tell you and explain what actually has happened and why there's a revolution going on in his country here in Africa. There is a revolution, and the Gen Zs have started that revolution, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop. But you're probably wondering what is going on. And this video that you're going to hear is going to explain exactly that. And then after this video, then we'll talk about some things, okay? All right, now listen very closely.
Now coming back to President Ruto, William Ruto is currently facing significant opposition due to a number of reasons. When he first came into office, he made promises to improve the lives of Kenyans, but instead, things seem to have deteriorated. The youth are particularly vocal in their demands, asking for the scrapping of the office of the First Lady, reduction of government expenditures, among other things that I mentioned. The protest commenced with a mere 12 people and rapidly escalated, drawing in 100, 200, and eventually 2,000 participants, seizing nationwide attention. Beyond Nairobi, the fervor spread to cities like Mombasa and Eldoret, traditionally loyal to President Ruto, signaling profound discontent with the economic policies of his government across the entire country. So according to Kenyan citizens, there has been a noticeable pattern of increased taxes without corresponding improvements in public services and infrastructure since Ruto assumed office in 2022. This has led to growing concerns among the population. During his campaign, he pledged to ease the burden on the working class and fellow hustlers in the country. However, many are questioning the fulfillment of these promises in light of recent developments related to taxation and public welfare. Fast forward to 2024. I just read a concerning update about Kenya's financial situation. The country is currently facing the repayment of its previous loan from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and in order to secure the next loan of $936.86 million, the government is considering increasing taxes. This rise in taxes is causing quite a bit of unrest among citizens, as the proposed measures are expected to significantly impact their day-to-day lives. The government has introduced a new tax bill, known as the Finance Bill, in Parliament. Unfortunately, details of this bill have been leaked, causing distress among the public. Here are some of the proposed tax increases outlined in the Finance Bill. 1. 16% sales tax on bread. This means that the cost of bread will increase by an additional 16%. To put it into perspective, if you usually spend N1000 on bread, you would have to pay an additional amount, excluding the existing value-added tax. 2. 25% duty tax on cooking oil. With the removal of subsidies, the import duty tax on cooking oil is expected to rise by 25%. Consequently, the price of cooking oil will likely increase, ultimately burdening consumers. 3. 2.5% vehicle tax. The proposed tax will require vehicle owners to pay 2.5% of their car's value to the government annually, in addition to existing expenses such as licenses, insurance, and other fees. 4. Increased taxes on all transactions, including physical transactions. In addition to these tax hikes, the government plans to introduce an eco-levy intended to address micropollution, environmental damage, and waste management at both household and office levels. This levy will affect the prices of sanitary pads, diapers, tires, motorcycles, generators, cars, and trucks. Another significant measure is the digital eco-levy, which involves a 5 to 3% increase in import taxes on digital products such as phones, cameras, microphones, TVs, radios, laptops, desktops, and solar equipment. These taxes must be paid at the port, and the resulting additional costs are expected to be transferred from importers to wholesalers, retailers, and ultimately consumers. It's no secret that these proposed tax increases and levies are causing considerable concern among the citizens. The potential financial burden on everyday commodities, transportation, and digital products is alarming. And now people nationwide have come to realize that the IMF was manipulating the government and using their president as a puppet. This realization spurred an immense wave of public outrage that erupted into street protests. It all began with the younger generation raising their voices on TikTok, expressing concerns about the finance bill and the IMF's influence over the leadership. The protests surged onto the streets on June 18th, with live streams broadcasting the events on TikTok and gaining traction on Twitter, eventually drawing international attention. What started with a few individuals quickly escalated into a massive demonstration, with thousands uniting in solidarity. The resounding demand from the protesters was clear. They vehemently rejected the finance bill and demanded that the government resist the IMF's interference. Their message emphasized the need to protect their financial stability in the face of ongoing hardships.
Now that you've heard it, you understand why the Kenyan people, the young people, Gen Z, are so angry. They're very angry at their government. They're very angry at Ruto, who's going all over the world spending money and to try to help other parts of the world. And he's having problems that he has not solved right here in his own country. So there is a little bit more to it that I want you to listen to, because it's very, very important. Here in Africa, there is a revolution that's happening, but specifically right now today with Gen Z in Kenya, and their topic and their target is President Ruto. So listen.
The reason as to why the government, politicians are finding it difficult to control this generation is because they are not that religious and they are not that tribalistic. And these two have been used as a tool to control our parents for the longest time. You want people to do exactly what you want? Talk about the devil and talk about God. Say that you're chosen by God. Talk about your tribe and how they're supposed to be loyal to their tribe, or they're supposed to be loyal to the people who come from the same tribe, even if those people don't serve their benefits. So it is so difficult to control someone who have deconstructed religion, because you cannot be able to use the devil or God as a weapon to make them fear or to make them submissive. Same way you cannot be able to control someone who have deconstructed tribalism, because their loyalty politically does not lie with someone of their same tribe. Their loyalty lies with the person that benefits them the most, or the person who is the most competent. Look at the tools that were used to control our parents: tribalism and religion. You remove those two, you have a generation that can actually think for itself, and that is very dangerous.
Poor people pay more money to live than wealthy people do. It costs them more money to exist than it costs wealthy people. They pay more. And it's just impossible for them to get around it because these are things that they desperately need and they desperately want. Well, that just blew the top off of their head. These Gen Zs, they say we have had enough and we're not taking anymore. And that's not all of it, but that was what really made things explode. What made things explode were the luxuries that the wealthy, not the wealthy, but the people in government that become wealthy when they get into government. And they have positions. And in those positions, they make double or triple the money that the people in regular professional positions make. Not only that, have you ever heard of the first lady getting a budget and the second lady getting a budget and the third lady getting a budget? So that means that the president's wife has a budget, the vice president's wife has a budget, and the secretary of state's wife has a budget? A budget, some money. Money because her husband made president or vice president? And that is not all. The fact that even the people in the Congress, well, they call it Parliament, even the people in the Parliament and certain offices, they doubled the Parliament's income. They were making 1.1 million, and now they're making 2.1 million. They doubled it. While people are without jobs. In this Gen Z, there are doctors, there's lawyers, there's teachers, there's professionals, there are non-professionals that have gone to school, gotten their degrees that they need, did what they were supposed to do, and there are no jobs. That's why they're jumping on planes, trains, and buses and getting in boats to try to go to America or either Europe. It's not because Kenya is not a beautiful place to live. And who would want to go to North Dakota in the United States from Kenya if they decided they were out of their mind? They did it out of desperation. They didn't do it because that's what they wanted to do. It's about income. But what do they have to do? Did you know that the World Bank and the IMF requires them to do things that will hurt their country instead of helping it? The World Bank and the IMF will say you don't grow wheat in your country. You buy wheat from Ukraine or you buy wheat from Nebraska, the United States. You don't grow wheat in your country. Did you know that the World Bank will say you don't buy chickens, you don't raise chickens, you buy chickens from Brazil? Or you buy chickens from one of our other countries that we're supporting? And therefore, you don't have chickens, you don't raise chickens. So all the money for chickens goes out of Kenya. Everything, furniture, chickens, everything. And the prices are just ridiculous. Plus, right now, they just lowered the dollar exchange rate by flooding money in. I don't know how he did it, but he did it, and they don't trust it. But the Kenyan shilling was going up very high to the American dollar. What that means is today, the Kenyan shilling might be worth 140, but tomorrow or the next day or next month, it might be worth 170. Plus, your shilling buys less and you're buying imports. So that means all the import prices go up. I went yesterday, they got cows all around here. And butter, I gotta pay 27,000 shillings for butter. What is that? That's around about what? Let me see, 2 into 27. That's around about $14, $16 for some butter. It might be a little bit less than that, but it's expensive. And if it's expensive for me, you know it's expensive for them. That's what this is all about. I want you to know it's not just a bunch of wild kids out there. They're fighting for their existence. They're tired of being broke. When Africa is rich, Kenya is rich. There's no reason in the world why Kenya should be getting money from the IMF or World Bank. It's all part of neocolonialism. And do you know what neocolonialism is? And stop just saying it's just like it's a phrase. It's imperialism, where people take control and you have no sovereignty. That's what's being worked. And then you have people like President Ruto. He's not the only one. They have Africans going against Africans. Can you imagine? The people that colonized us and enslaved us as having us to go against each other when we try to advance. The things you hear about the Africans doing things to each African here in Africa is because they've made a pact with the devil. And the devil being the West. The devil being the West. So when you hear about kids and you hear somebody saying they're burning stuff, that's what they do. They do that in the United States. When we have a riot or when we get together, when we protest, the first thing they do is tell you you're burning buildings, you're doing this and you're doing that. They publicize that on TV. They do not care about what you're actually angry about or what you're doing. And they're not actually doing it. They got people coming in. They did that in Baltimore. They had, during one riot in Baltimore, they had the police were throwing in Molotov cocktails in stores and things. They were doing things.
I have a message to the Kenyan government. I have a message to William Samoei Ruto. I have a message to the Minister of ICT, the Minister of Youth, and all the responsible offices. You are taxing Kenyans. That is fine. It's in a shida ukitax wa Kenya, but do not attempt, do not think, do not try to tax youths, and especially online media. Do not tax content creators, because you did not create them, you did not support them, you don't know who they are, you don't know their struggles, you have never talked to them, you have never called them, you've never supported them, you want to tax them. That is theft. You cannot take money that does not belong to you. Don't tax the poor. Don't tax the struggling. Tax the rich. Don't touch online media. Do not touch Kenyan content creators. I am a content creator. I've never used my degree from Daystar. Nimeishi, nimekula, nimelipa rent for 16 years. Since 2008, now YouTube. Do not touch it unless you come and talk to us.
And the people, of course, that didn't have anything, saw the opportunity and they ran into those places and took things out. And that's what they videoed. And so it looked like we were wild people with no reason, because we are living in the good old USA. We have no cause, but we're wild and uncontrollable. But I'm going to tell you something. Al Sharpton can come out and quiet us down, but baby, there's nobody coming to quiet these people down. These children are angry. They're angry because they're hungry. You know, one thing about it, when you're hungry, no sweet words and promises can make a change. They gave Ruto a chance. They voted him in because he gave them hope. But he moved into the office and he not only did what the other guy did, he did even more. He did worse. Then he flying all over the world to make favoritism, to be elected or nominated as a whatever United Nations representative. Non-United Nations representative and allied to the United States government. It's kind of like that saying, he's my, you know what? That's what the United States is saying. And Ruto's running around grinning and thinking he did something. But for his people, they have analyzed it. They have experienced it and they see it. Especially when he decided he's going to pack up 1,000 police officers and send them into Haiti to fight against their own people. Haitians being fought against, people that have been striving for freedom and fighting against the West all the time. France making them life difficult for them. I'll just say the word, screwing them. France doing it, the United States doing on top of it. And I looked at a video where a representative, a senator, said it is not in the purpose of the United States to ever allow Haiti to succeed. The full force of the United States government is run by a mafia. I say yes, mafia, gangsters against countries and people. Not you Americans. Don't get offended because you have not voted for any of this stuff. You didn't vote for Iraq, you didn't vote for Vietnam, you didn't vote for Korea, you didn't vote for any of that stuff. And you sure didn't vote for Ukraine. They made a decision for you and your tax dollar. And you getting poorer and they getting richer. And they got us fighting each other. Over here is tribalism and religion. In the United States, it's racism and religion. This is what separates us. So over here, they use tribalism and religion. In the United States, they use racism and religion. Tribe against tribe, they have a way, a mechanism they use to have people like you and I to devour each other. So when you listen, what I'm trying to do is to let you know, we are not alone in the tactics. You think you're just an American, African-American, or African-Jamaican, or African-Dominican Republican, or an African Costa Rican, or African this or that. No, we are all in this together. You are a black man with nappy hair, or a black woman with nappy hair. And they envy us. And people that envy you kill you and mistreat you because they know who we are and you don't know who you are. You're the most spiritual, the most loving, God-loving, and most high-loving people in the world. There's nowhere in the world that you can go that people are in more celebration of the Most High than here in Africa, or either in the black communities, the African communities throughout, whether it's Costa Rica or wherever. People have been hurt, they've been killed, they're disgusted, and this is what's going on here. While meanwhile, he has 1,000 young men in Haiti trying to solve the Haitian problem. And he has the exact same problem here in Kenya. And that problem stems around the United States government and IMF and the World Bank. That's just what it is. It's impossible to really understand, but open your ears and listen very closely. So when you make a decision about what you're thinking about what's going on here in Africa, you need to know, you need to have information that is true. And you can research it, you can look it up. But that's what's going on here in Haiti right now. Going on here in Kenya right now. And it has something to do with Haiti. All this is tying together. So this is Janetta. And I hope if you like the video, you like the information, please let me know that you like it. Subscribe, because there's more to come from Mama Africa Speaks. Also, share it with people so they get to know what's going on. And they'll have the information, because what happens here actually is a mirror of what's happening all over the world and even in the United States. So, hey, this is Janetta. Make sure you listen to Black Suit Radio and blacksuitradio.com on Saturdays at 8 o'clock. All right. Talk to you later. Woo-hoo. Okay. Hey, this is Jamila, and you're watching Africa Speak